listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me as well. Coming to you from ESPN 97.5, 92.5. And guys, it's been a hell of a week for your boy, man. I've been working hard. But first, I want to say congratulations to Miami Heat, man. Woo! Miami Heat, man. They put them boys away, man. They put them Celtics away. And I tell you, man, Game 7, it came and it went, and it was like a whimper. You know what I mean? It didn't have the excitement I thought it was going to have. I thought them Celtics was going to come out and do something big. I thought that boy Jason Tatum was going to, get busy and come out there shaking and baking, but none of that happened, man. The boys was down the whole game and got put to sleep. And, again, history still lingers, man. Still lingering, man. Still holds there in the balance, man. So, what did you think about it, man?
And, you and I, we spoke earlier in the day, and we were both kind of really excited for Game 7. It was, to me, it had the most must-watch atmosphere that the NBA has had all year, in my opinion. Like, that Game 7 felt, in a lot of ways, like Game 7 of an NBA Finals. That's how much hype there was built around it, really, because the 3-0, they're down. Can Boston do it? Can they complete the reverse sweep, as it's called, the same way the Red Sox did it back in the day in that 0-4 series, I think it was, against the Yankees? Could they do it? And I'll be honest with you, Book. It sucked that Tatum got injured on the very first play. However, injury aside, I didn't see it from Boston, right? They didn't seem like they were ready for that position. And they had fought so hard for that position, but their defense did not seem like they wanted to pressure the Miami Heat at all. And that's why the Miami Heat would have up 17, up 12, up almost 20 by the end of the game.
Man, it's crazy. I always equate the basketball game kind of like with hockey. And, because it's offense and defense, or soccer, offense, defense. But why the hell basketball players, the defensive part just goes out of the window where guys score 100 points. You know what I mean? Why can nobody get, like in soccer and hockey, they stop you from scoring. It's 1, 2, 3, 3-0, whatever. You know what I mean? In basketball, it's 120 to 100. It's like nobody's playing defense.
Yeah.
That always, baffled me a little bit. You know what I mean? The guys can shoot so well, but nobody can play defense.
Well,
you know what I mean?
No, I'm 100% in agreement with you. It's like, especially Boston that night, they just felt like they were uninterested on the defensive side of the court. And that Robert Williams had a lot of great blocks. Actually, Al Horford had a couple good blocks as a center. And I actually like seeing that because, to me, the NBA has gone so small in a lot of ways. It's nice to see that, hey, the big guys still needed. Robert Williams, I don't think, missed a single shot for the entire home stand for Boston, which says a lot for him. But overall, you're right. But I'll tell you what makes me laugh more than anything is at the end of the game when Boston knows we're beat, right? So they put in the second unit. They put in the bench guys. And those bench guys are playing – they're playing their hearts out, man. Bro. They're on that. That's when they're on defense. Like they're like, I'm about to show out.
It's prime time for those guys, man. Those guys.
No, it's not prime time. It's the only time.
Exactly. Those guys been sitting on the bench all season, man. We in the game. What? We got a chance to make a comeback? They thinking all kind of stuff, man. For 5 minutes.
I know, man. It had me laughing. And then here's my other thing. Is why do teams sign veterans like Kevin Love, for instance, for the Miami Heat? Or on the other side, you have Blake Griffin on the bench for the Boston Celtics and just not ever play them. I don't understand what the point of that is. They didn't have any minutes for that Game 7 at all. But and you would think you'd want a veteran presence.
You might, man, but those guys, I guess, looked at as like utility guys.
Right.
Guys, you ain't getting in the game unless something happens. Okay? It's one of those type of things. We're going to pay you just to sit there. You know what I mean? Be player coaches for the young guys.
Right.
And the thing is, Seemed like Blake Griffin got old quick.
Real quick.
I swear, man. It seemed like he was such a young guy just a couple of years ago, dunking on everybody. And now he's an old guy sitting on the bench.
Just sitting there too, man, doing nothing.
Yeah.
Doing nothing.
Yeah, Carmelo, he just retired, man.
Carmelo's done.
Carmelo's
He's over.
You know, you know what, man? It's over. It's over. This ride's over. I mean, what do you think about this Pippen Jordan thing?
Well, I don't think I've seen it. What's going on?
You ever heard about this Pippen and Jordan?
Well, I know Pippen's had some words for Michael ever since the documentary came out.
Yeah, but here as of late, just like within the last couple of days.
Okay, no, I haven't seen this.
Scottie Pippen said before Michael Jordan started playing with him, he wasn't even a good basketball player.
Oh, here's the headline from CNN. Michael Jordan was a horrible player and horrible to play with, says Chicago. What is up with Scotty's really sour, man?
You know
I
what,
love
man,
Scotty.
You know what I told you, man? When you get old, you just start losing it. You start thinking about stuff that wasn't even, real or reality. You just start, conjuring up stuff to want to talk about. I swear to God, man, when I hear some of this stuff, sometimes when guys get older and they just want to talk about stuff that, locker room stuff. Stuff that should not be, public at all, and it baffles the crap out of me, man. I've seen it time and over again. And Scottie Pippen should be thankful more than anything winning 6 championships with this guy. He wouldn't have won 6 championships. He didn't win 6 championships without him. He didn't win one without him.
He didn't win on the Rockets. He didn't win on the Trailblazers, to my knowledge. Yeah, Scottie Pippen, I don't know, man. And those ones really hurt because at least when Kobe and Shaq were doing their thing, we knew they hated each other. You know what I mean? Like, they were very vocal about it, but they still handled business on the court. It seemed like Scotty had been holding this in.
I don't think they hated each other. I think they were just more of a competitive nature.
Yeah, well, a competitive rivalry, we'll say, on the court.
Yeah.
But we knew about it. With Scotty, I guess all those years of saying, man, he was a great number 2. He was a great number 2. He was a great number 2. And then for Jordan to get on there and kind of, they said that Scotty didn't look great in that documentary. And I will say Scotty didn't look great in the documentary, but it was all kind of facts.
I mean, what was the downside to, the documentary as far as Scotty?
Well,
I really didn't watch a whole lot of it.
Okay, well, it's really great. Like, you should go out of your way to see it if you have a chance. But with Scotty, what they made him look like was, hey, when Jordan left and went to baseball, the team was on Scotty's back then. And Scotty didn't have the juice to get the job done, right? That's when the Rockets won those 2 years in a row. And then Scotty had a really bad deal that he was negotiated for, and he was making very little money on the team, and it made him look stupid from a negotiation standpoint. And then the last thing was he had a big surgery done in the middle of the season when they knew they needed Scotty. He knew that the team needed him, but he got the surgery anyway because he didn't want to play the rest of the season. And at least that's how it was described in the documentary. And it did not make him look good, like overall. It made him look actually kind of like a bad teammate, which I had never heard Scottie Pippen ever being a bad teammate, ever.
Well, the thing is, was it true?
Well, yeah. I mean, they went through facts, but I'm just saying
if it was true, I mean, facts is facts. I mean,
yeah,
they didn't win nothing without Jordan. All right.
No.
With Jordan, they won, and they won big.
They three-peated twice.
Well, what I was just going to say, they made history with Michael Jordan, and for to be bitter to the point to where you go and say this guy was a horrible basketball player.
I mean, that's just crazy.
You're talking about the best basketball player in the world. I mean, it's the same guy, that came up through college. He was great in college. And came to the pros. He was great in the pros when he first got there, and I equate him almost to like what LeBron went through. He was just looking for a team. Just needed somebody to help him.
He needed some help, yeah.
And he was one of those guys that was out there just putting up a lot of points. You know what I mean? But a lot of young players are like that until they find themselves. We got to take a quick break. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
In order to kick some ass, you got to bring some. I wasn't born the chosen one. I became the chosen one. Through hard work, determination, and winning.
The chosen one, victorious.
You're gonna be a big star. You already are.
I'm stronger. And I'm faster than anyone they've ever put me in the ring with. Being the chosen one isn't just a nickname, it's a gift. And professional wrestling is my gift. That is an absolute guaranteed. What's my name again?
Boom! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. Yeah, man, just to back in on that boy Scottie Pippen. There again, I just think that's the guy that's bitter. Midlife crisis, as well as if I'm not mistaken, if it's true or not that Michael Jordan's son is dating his ex-wife. that might have something to do with it.
I don't. Is that rumor substantiated? Let's see.
I heard that's true. That's supposed to.
Yeah, Marcus Jordan.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, if he got a couple biscotti every morning, you might get a little hot about that. What?
Oh my God, I'm just like. I'm just thinking about like Michael has outdone and his family has got you at every turn. Like his son, who was I think born in the late 90s, is now with your wife.
Yeah. That's got to be tough. That's got to be tough. That's a low blow right there, man.
And have you seen Scotty's ex-wife?
Yeah. If she's Scotty's ex-wife, trust me, she's got to be hot because he had to be spending a whole lot of money to get her.
Oh no, she's a biscotti for sure.
Because he ain't the most handsome brother. He's never been the most handsome brother. Scotty was ugly. You know what I mean?
Yo, you know they say like your nose and your ears never stop growing. He's living proof, bro.
I swear, man, he looked like something animated. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't real. I'm serious. You know what I mean? Alien-like. But Scotty, he's gonna have to pay big. You know what I mean? To get one of these.
Larsa Pippen's got it going on.
Supermodel-like type. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Larsa Pippen's got it going on. Oh man, I'm just looking at some of these photos of her with Michael Jordan's wife. That's funny. I mean, Michael Jordan's son. No, she's definitely a biscotti.
Yeah, like I said, I think that's got more to do. I think that's more of a personal issue, as well as you see, someone like Michael Jordan, a guy that played on the same team with you, 6 rings, just like you, and he's gotten so much more out of his career.
Yeah, well, he's known as the greatest of all time and a billionaire.
Exactly, and people look at him totally different than Scottie Pippen. That might be part of it. You know what I mean? I'm sure that's got to have a little bit of something to do with what's going on between those two.
Well, it has to. I mean, it just has to. You can't be in a relationship. Oh my God, that's really funny. I did not know that they were dating. I'm so far off on this. But you know what? Well, here's the actual quote from Scotty, by the way, just so people know what we're talking about. He said, did an interview with something called the Spice Podcast, I believe. Give me the sauce. Excuse me, I'm way off. Give me the sauce. And he said, I've seen Michael Jordan play before I came to the Bulls. You guys have seen him play. He was horrible. He was horrible to play with. It was all one-on-one, shooting bad shots. All of a sudden, we become a team and we start winning. Everybody forgot who he was. He was a player who was really not at the top of his category. Damn.
What the thing is, did all of a sudden he just get good?
He just got good all of a sudden.
All of a sudden, you know what I mean?
Being that close to Scotty. That's
Yeah,
what it was.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. All of a sudden, you know, so that should account for something.
Yeah, well, yeah. All of a sudden,
because he wouldn't. I mean, you couldn't have won 6 championships with a scrub.
Yeah,
a guy who just all right, even a guy who just wasn't good. You know, so I just think that's just I don't know. I think that's blowing a lot of smoke, getting a lot of hot air, blowing a lot of hot air, getting a lot off of his chest. You know, and a lot of it is just probably pent up anger for Jordan all these years, man. Seeing that star so bright and it's right next to you, and you can't get none of that shine on you, man. It can be, it can be hard.
Well, just so our audience watching on YouTube can be aware, and if you're listening on ESPN 975, 92.5, or the podcast feed, you can just go to Google and just do yourself a favor and just do the search. But here is Marcus Jordan and Larsa Pippen together on vacation. I see why he's upset.
She looked pretty young too. I don't know how old she is, but she looked pretty young too.
She's 48.
Well, you know, I mean, she got it going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Jordan, I mean, he ain't hitting no shots. He might as well hit some kind of shots. You know what I mean? Since he ain't balling, he might as well ball. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just putting it out there, man.
Give us some Roni, brother. Oh yeah.
Man.
It's just jokes. What is that from?
It's just jokes. That's Bernie Mac.
It's just jokes.
Jokes. You know what he talking about? He wanted his own show, and he would give him his own show.
It's just jokes, man. Oh my gosh. Well, hey, before we leave the full basketball thing, who do you got? Who do you got in the finals?
Man, Denver's hard. It's gonna be hard to beat those guys.
It's a hard team, man.
Hard team to beat, man. They like
tough team.
Detroit Pistons from back in the day, man. They just rugged and raw. That Jokic, man, he ain't got no footwork, but he don't miss nothing. You know what I'm saying? He reminds me so much of Larry Bird. It ain't funny, man. And I ain't talking about just because he's a white guy. I'm talking about the way he runs, the way he walks, the way he shoots, everything. Bird was the same way. It just didn't look like he was as great as he was until, you know, he got on the court, you know, and showed you how great he actually was. And that's what those guys do, man. It's going to be hard to beat that team.
I agree, man. I mean, I love the way Jimmy Butler and that Miami Heat team play. See them being able to top Jokic and that Denver Nugget team who've been good all year. And the thing with the Miami Heat is they actually have a really good roster and a couple of undrafted bench guys who really stepped up in that Boston series. But I just don't see enough cohesion in that group.
I'm gonna tell you though, if they play like they played this last series, they can beat anybody.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
That's the way I look at it too.
But
if those role players step up the way they stepped up in this last series, that team can beat anybody. I really believe that.
Well, when you have undrafted guys who are able to go out there and ball, like what was my guy's name? I'm trying to look him up right now. Who dropped like 20 plus in this last game? Caleb Martin. Caleb Martin, man, that guy was balling the whole series.
Yeah,
this is somebody who you didn't even know before the playoffs. And they've had guys who've been out. You know, Oladipo's been out. A few other people whose names are escaping me at the current moment. But you know, maybe they put some together. We'll see. Tyler Hero, that's who I'm trying to think.
Tyler Hero, he's been out. I just feel like those guys, man, if they played it the way they played this last series, which was damn near flawless, they can beat anybody. I really do. I'm serious.
We'll find out, man. We'll find out. I mean, game one tomorrow.
Yep.
Game one tomorrow. We'll see if they can do it. Because, you know, these two teams, they got bad blood. Because I think was it last season? The Jokic shoved that Heat player down to the ground, and Jimmy was like, hey, let's step outside. And then Jimmy Butler was waiting on Jokic to come out of the dressing room.
Jimmy wasn't waiting on nobody.
Jimmy Buckets was waiting.
Way too light in the ass to be trying to wait on anybody, especially somebody like Jokic, man. That dude's so big, man, it ain't funny.
Jokic is big, but I'm not going to bet against Jimmy Butler.
Butler don't look like a fighter, man. He just don't look like a fighter to me.
Look, that man came up in Tomball. had to play here in Houston.
Bro,
Learn the game.
The time he was spending in Tomball was on the court. It wasn't fighting nobody. Okay.
Look, okay, you could say that. I think Jimmy's got some hands.
Look here, I ain't
Seems like he's
saying
got some dog in him.
I'm not saying Jimmy Butler won't protect himself if somebody tried to fight him, but I just don't see Jimmy Butler trying to go and fight anybody. He just don't look like that type of guy.
Okay. I mean, but look, he is him right now in this playoffs. He's been a star. He's put the team on his back.
MVP. He's got the trophy. Okay, that's fine. But MVP don't mean nothing if you don't.
I agree.
You don't win the championship.
I did like how he told Bam Adebayo. He was like, I don't want to hold. Bam had the Eastern Conference Champions trophy and was trying to hand it to Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler said, I don't want to hold that. I want to hold the next one. Right. I like where his mind's at. I like where his head's at.
Hey man,
it shows that he's like, I'm not here for consolation prizes.
Brother want to win, man. He's all about the team. That's one thing I like about Jimmy Butler. He's not one of these selfish guys that's thinking about him me or anything like that. He's really truly a team player. That he's extraordinary too. This playoff series, he stepped up. It seems like every playoff series he steps up.
He steps up.
Throughout the season, you don't hear a whole lot about Jimmy Butler at all. And the playoff season come around, you go, man, this dude can play, man. This dude is really good. The first time a couple of years ago, I guess, when he really, stepped on my radar, and I was like, wow, this dude is unbelievably talented. And guys like that, those are the guys you really want on your team, because those are the guys that step up in those big moments, that aren't afraid to take those big shots. And he proved it, when the game they lost,
Game 6.
Game 6, hitting those 3 free throws under pressure, clutch under pressure. That didn't happen by accident. I mean, he put himself in position for that to happen. So, dude's good, man. We got to take a break, though. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
To the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. We just getting ready to talk a little sports and entertainment, a little wrestling. Guys, coming off a major weekend with NXT Battleground. Coming from Lowell, Mass, man, the Sangha Center. I've been wanting to say that all week. The Sangha Center, but no, man, we had a great time. NXT this weekend. Actually, even just yesterday's taping was awesome as well, man. Watching those girls, GG and JC, go out there in that weaponized cage match. Ladies went out there and brought it, man. Brought the noise, man. It's crazy, but pay-per-view was definitely awesome as well. I don't know, man. What interests you most out of this weekend?
Well, definitely, I will say from top to bottom, it was an enjoyable weekend of pro wrestling. I don't think that there was a bad time to be had by any. I watched only, though, in full the WWE shows. I've seen parts in certain matches of AEW's Double or Nothing. But I guess let's start, though, with your girl getting it done. Tiffany Stratton, TS, man. Went out there. I know that's someone who you've been championing and you've been talking a lot about on the show, and saying that she's got a lot to show for her 18 months in this game, being as good as she is, going out there. And now she's been anointed as the top woman in NXT. What'd you think of the match that her and Valkyria had at Battleground?
Match was good. They went out and actually rocked it. A lot of ebbs and flows, ups and downs, spots I didn't see coming, which was cool. At the end of the day, what people are going to remember was that flawless moonsault. You know, I don't think I've seen anybody do the moonsault as good as Tiffany does. I've seen a lot of guys do it really, really good, but I'm just talking about the balance of the way she does it is, it was almost like a perfect 10 as far as the toes being perfectly together, the landing being, spot on, everything landing and hitting at one time. She's unbelievably talented. And I'm just hoping that, winning the championship is going to make her a little bit smarter more than anything, because one thing about the business, getting the title is one thing, but understanding what that role means is so much more than having that championship around your waist, so hopefully the title will make her a whole lot better.
Yeah, I know you've talked about it before with being a champion in general. First segment, last segment, middle of the show, dark match, main event to the next town, do all the media when you get there before. So for Tiffany Stratton, I think this is why it's good to have NXT for a multitude of reasons, but also, hey, yeah, you get that championship experience of being the top dog in your company and a big company and a big promotion without having to have it all. Because, some of those guys, like I think of Jack Swagger's a one I want to bring up. Remember when Jack Swagger came in and they just threw the world title on him? Like before he was ready for it. They just threw the world title on him thinking, oh, this guy can run with it.
Well, because he could wrestle, he had that wrestling background, wrestling pedigree. He's a guy that was, 6'4" tall. Probably he was about 240 to 50 pounds at that time. So he fit that that bill. He checked off all the boxes. So they say, yeah, this could be the next guy. Young, very, very young, and like you say, just not ready for that moment.
Just wasn't ready for the moment, man. And it's no fault of his own, but had he been able to kind of cut his teeth in NXT before being anointed to the main roster and being thrown the World Heavyweight Championship, perhaps he would have been ready for the spot. And I think that's kind of my point with Tiffany or with anybody, or Carmelo for that matter, of having that taste at this level, which is still big. Like you're still the talk of the wrestling community if you're in NXT, but it's not the Roman Reigns or the Bianca Belair level yet.
Yeah. Well, you got to know your role. You got to you got to know exactly where you are at the same time. And for me, I want to be the best where I'm at that point in time. I can't think about the next place. Just like when I tell people that come into reality of wrestling, your main primary objective goal is to be the best at reality of wrestling before you could be the best anywhere else. That's just the way it is. If you're the best at reality of wrestling, you might be able to, have the ability to be the best anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
That's the goal. And for someone like a Carmelo Hayes in NXT, being the guy right now, the NXT champion, got to understand exactly what that means, man. I'm the guy right now. I'm representing this company right now, and that means that I'm the best right now as far as the guy in their eyes, as far as the guy that's carrying the company. And that's the only thing that really, really matters. Be the best at that company you possibly can be. It's a possibility you can carry the load at that next level. But everything's a test more than anything. That's why I say with Tiffany Stratton, she's got to understand that everything is a test. And right now she's still in her infancy stages as far as trying to really, really learn this game and what this game truly is all about, especially being a heel. When you're a heel, you got to be able to go out there and really, make the good guys look good, so to speak.
Oh, 100%, man. We've talked about being a heel before, but you know what? Somebody who's kind of gone from heel to baby and now is kind of solidified in that position is your man, Carmelo Hayes. And we do have a super chat here.
Super chat.
From Kappa Owens, who says, Brad Book, Carmelo is him. But it still feels like something about his latest high-profile matches are missing. How do you feel about him in the him era?
I feel, you know what? He is him. He is him. The dude is good, man. Carmelo's good. And I can agree with you as far as something being missing as well. I totally understand exactly where you're coming from, as far as that goes. And the thing is, I think I don't know, maybe it's just having that ability to go out and just beat up somebody flawlessly. Wrestling someone is one thing, but going out and beating the guy up is something totally different. And Carmelo maybe needs to think about, raising his game as far as that goes, as far as really knowing how to go out there and tattoo someone and really make the fans feel like that person is really being tattooed. And I can't really, get too deep into, you know, um, what I mean about that kind of stuff, because there again, I'm like a magician. It's all about, keeping your tricks real close to the bag, So, but Carmelo he's next level talent. But that's one of the reasons why I'm happy he is still in NXT, because he's a work in progress, but he's a diamond in the rough that just needs to be polished.
Just needs, yeah, and again, that's what that's for. And I think it's almost, in some ways, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, Book, but I feel like in some ways it's almost unfair to people in NXT when they say, "Oh, something's missing. Oh, I don't like their promos. I don't like their work. I don't like that." Because isn't that what NXT is about? Is like,
It's nothing missing. It's just that they're growing.
right.
They're learning. And they're for me, the ones that, just like I got a chance to sit with, one of the guys this week, and we went through some film study, and I pointed out a lot of little bitty things that he needed to work on. And he's been there for a couple of years, but that's the name of the game. This business, you're always going to be learning. For me, I'm one of those guys that, I'm from the old school, and the old schoolers back in the day, they didn't want to pass it on to the younger guys. But for me, I'm like so enthused about passing it on to these young guys, and hopefully they can take those tools and go out there and make them work. And then I see it actually work for them, and I go, oh man, I had a little piece in that right there. You know what I mean? I had a little part in trying to make this guy a better performer, and it's actually working. So for me, all of the guys in NXT are young guys. I see guys coming back like Corbin. He's back. Mustafa. Ali, he's back. And those guys. New Day came back and did some stuff. Those guys definitely can come down there and play a role. More so player coaches, working with these guys and trying to teach them what it takes to get to that next level, and hopefully perhaps stay at that next level.
Yeah. And you know what? You're absolutely right about it being a place that the guys can come back. And if they need a tune up, or they need hey, let's go down to NXT, work on this character, try to get this, like Apollo, right? Yeah. Apollo was doing the Nigerian Prince kind of gimmick on SmackDown. It started to lose its luster. So what does he do? He goes down to NXT. He gets kind of some work in the ring, thinks about his character, feels things out again, and then look at him back on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Kind of the way it works, man.
Hey, man.
I don't know if we have time for another one. Yeah, I guess we do. Let's see. Here is from Virgil Dawkins, who says, it felt like you had at least one more world title run in you before you left for TNA. Do you see winning the TNA Legends Championship as your 7th world title reign?
Not really. You know what I mean? The Legends Championship was built for me, which I thought it really was a cool idea. I thought it was a cool idea, but I didn't think it was a cool idea for me just to have the belt. I thought I should have defended it. I thought it should have been like the $1 million belt, but I should have been defending that title. And I thought we could have did some really, really good work with it. But it was just a prop. And it was one of the most beautiful championships.
Prettiest title.
I'm serious, that I had ever seen in this business. But I really, to this day, don't know why they made me the Legends Championship. I don't know. I didn't ask for it.
Whose idea was it?
I don't know whose idea it was.
We got to figure this out.
I swear to God, I didn't ask for it. It was a cool idea when they gave it to me, because I thought, okay, we could do something with this. But they had no idea as far as what they want to do with it.
Okay. Well, hey, we got to go to a quick break, Book, and then we got more super chats.
Stick around, you're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, man. Any more super chatters?
Yes, we do have plenty more super chatters inside the Hall of Fame on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5 Booker T. You want to take a couple here before we move on, I guess? Let's go. Here is
Super Chat.
Ross Ferguson. Who is your favorite legends that you what was that no longer here? Who is your favorite legend that you what was that no longer here?
I don't understand that, but
who's your favorite legend who's no longer here?
I think that's what it is.
Okay.
My favorite legend that's no longer here. Oh man.
It's a hard question.
It's a really, really hard question right there, man. I don't know, man. Try not to think about, all of the guys that we've lost too much. I don't know, man. That's a really hard question.
For me, just a guy who I wish was around. Like when I think about hip hop, I saw this picture of Tupac the other day that was like AI of what he would have looked like today.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, it'd been so awesome to have Pac around and just feel like what he would say about the industry and stuff like that. And for me, if I were to do it like a wrestling one, it would be Macho.
I know you was going to say that. I knew you was going to say Macho.
You knew I was going to say Macho?
I knew you was going to say Macho because that's the person I was thinking about as well.
Yeah.
Savage, man. And Savage, when he left, he had changed, his look entirely. He had the gray beard, fully gray.
Santa Claus is great.
It just seemed like he had found peace in his life, so definitely I would love to see Macho Man Savage, one more time. He was a guy that I had great camaraderie with. Laughed many days with that dude, and then to say something I don't say too often or ever, but it was an honor to share the ring, with the great Macho Man Randy Savage. Man, what a time in my life.
I was telling you the other day, my wife and I were watching Most Wanted Treasures, and she got really into the show. So then she was like, well, I want to watch, like, she didn't know anything about Bret Hart. She's like, I want to watch the Bret Hart documentary, right? So we started going through and the Macho one, because y'all did a Macho episode. So we started looking at all the A&E documentaries, and, in line, yours came up, and she hadn't seen the whole thing yet. So we sat and watched it. And after watching 4 or 5 of these in a row, so we've seen Bret, Macho, yours, Austin's, somebody else, Warriors. The way that they shot yours was different from everybody else's. And I got to give George Roy a lot of credit, because when you see those, they could be so cookie cutter, the documentaries, that very easily, and everyone has its own flair to it. But yours with that shaft open, the Richard Roundtree thing, having the music play, the Willie Hutch, and you driving through South Park gave it such a different feel than everybody else's, because with Bret, it was just pictures we saw of Calgary. With Warrior and Macho, they weren't around to tell their story. And Sean's was good, but it didn't have that, this is where I grew up. Like, this is where this story happened right here. And then there's that part where you're talking about breakdancing and your cousin shows up or something. Man, I learned the spinneroonie in his yard on the cardboard. It was such a cool way that they shot that. So I want to give props to the director.
That was all improv too, man. My cousin just happened to be coming down the street. It was nuts, man. Oh man, just felt like old times, man. But now George Roy, he did a hell of a job, and he definitely was a guy that made me feel good about doing it. For a while I was reluctant. I didn't want to do it. I said nah to the project in the beginning, and he convinced me that if I was to let him do it, at the end of the day, that I would really be proud of the work that he was going to do. And I tell you, man, I trusted him, and he really did me right. One time I wanted to kill him, though. I really wanted to kill that dude, because we did an interview one day, and the interview was 8 hours. 8 hours straight that I sat in front of that camera, and I wanted to wring his neck, man. At the end of it, I was like, you got to be kidding me. But such a good dude, and he really did a hell of a job as far as making me look good.
Man, you know what we should do one day as a special episode is have him on and, just talk about the process of just telling a story like that.
Yeah, that would be awesome, man. I'll definitely reach out to him.
Yeah, that would be cool. But, for like who came up with the Shaft intro? Because it was just cool because there was a voiceover of you walking through New York.
No, he knew I was a huge fan of Shaft and Richard Roundtree, so he wanted to reenact me playing the role of Shaft, and that actually was actually a scene. That walk right there that I did. It was a scene from the movie Shaft back in the day.
The original.
Yeah, the original Shaft.
Oh man, so cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I
Everything, every little part that I played in that first scene right there was from the movie Shaft. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen the original Shaft.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I got to go back and watch that now. Yeah, it was cool. But I encourage everyone out there, if you haven't watched any of the WWE A&E documentaries, definitely go out of your way to watch them because they're not long.
I wanted to kill him, man, because he had me running across the street in New York City, so many times. I do it again. I had to go back to the light and run across again. Oh man, at the end of the day, I was so hungry, and I made him shut down the shoot. I said, "Bro, shut it down, shut it down." Because I was getting so mad, and finally he shut it down, man. He did do a good job.
But I would have loved Macho to have been around today. Can you imagine? Macho Man would have the greatest podcast of all time.
Yeah,
well, let me tell you something, brother.
Yeah.
When I was working with Hogan back in ’88,
Madison Square Garden, sold out, brother, sold out. That's got to come in there.
sold out to the rafters, brother.
Sold out is at the end of everything, whatever arena it was, sold out, brother.
Oh no! And before that, what comes?
I was in the main event.
Yeah.
Madison Square Garden, sold out. Yeah,
Brother, yeah.
Oh man! So great, so great. Macho would have been great. Let's go to another one. This is from Cali Toenail.
Give us some Roni, brother. Oh yeah.
Cali says SmackDown was taped Friday and fans were upset. Boos were put over cheers. LA Knight was actually getting why LA Knight was actually getting why would WWE want to change the universe's voice? Well, I don't know about this book, but I will say what fans of the television show, and you can agree with me or not, what fans of the television show need to realize is it's a television show. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, we're trying to tell a particular story, right? And sometimes it's unavoidable and the fans dictate what the story is. But if the WWE really wants this guy to be a heel or wants him to be a face or this girl to be a heel or be a face and really sell them as that, maybe I'm in the minority. I don't mind sweetening the crowd to give the fan at home a certain feel.
Well, it's not something I really think about or look at or anything like that. Just like when we had the pandemic and they piped in the crowd noise.
Right.
It made the show a little bit better.
It made the show better.
Am I right or wrong on that?
Do you remember the greatest wrestling match ever thing with Randy and Edge?
Yeah.
You remember that? Yeah. And without that crowd noise, without that Howard Finkel doing the voiceover, right? It would not have felt like watchable at all.
Bro, I mean, it made it feel better. So that's where the internet comes in at, and we wouldn't know that kind of stuff if it wasn't for the internet, and the spoilers and whatnot, So I think for me, I'm not really paying too much attention to something like that. And the thing is, the people that's writing about it probably wouldn't have paid a whole lot of attention to it if, someone wouldn't have written about it and said that actually happened, So I don't know, it's like having the hot girls on the front row and you say, man, well, they paid them to be there. Who cares? Some hot chicks in the front row. Check them out. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Well, maybe I'm just different like that.
No, but that's what wrestling is, right? Like to a large point, it's like wrestling is embellishing these personalities to make you feel a certain way. Okay.
I mean, what I always wonder. I mean, this is kind of like going off on another tangent, but it's kind of like the same thing. When you see the boxing match, getting ready to, they get ready to do the press conference, not the press conference, but the weigh in. You got the two fighters, and then you got, whoever Leonard Ellaby or, in the middle or whatever.
Right.
But you're always going to have the two hot chicks
every time
with some bikinis standing up there.
Bikinis on.
Why are they there?
No one knows.
To entertain you. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Every time I come here, I just have so much fun. I go home and we just can't stop talking about it till we come back.
The whole roster, top to bottom, star-studded guys.
We drove 12 hours from Atlanta just to come see one missile for the world. It's one of the premier independent wrestling promotions across America.
It's a well-oiled machine, and there's a lot of good talent, which is very rare on in these shows to see so much talent on one show.
The organization that he has right now, I think and truly believe that it's one of the best organizations out there.
Brian Keith is 15 feet in the air! Brian Keith from up top!
A lot of fun, a lot of good athletes, good wrestlers, good family fun.
I've been around with a lot of the other independent groups, but this to me is a very, very top and first-class operation.
Reality of wrestling, one word, heart. And that's what Booker T is bringing to Houston. It's already special.
He's created opportunity, and he's creating great talent, as you guys well know.
Can't make it happen without these young people, without the fans coming out and supporting this thing. This is the flagship of Texas wrestling. This is the beginning of something big. It ain't gonna stop.
It's the best damn promotion in the country right now. The best independent promotion in the country. The best talent, the best coach and teacher that there ever was. And this is where it's at right here in the reality of wrestling. Believe that.
Oh my goodness! I gave it to Driver!
It's very professional. It's a very good production. Booker's doing it right. I really enjoyed being a part of it.
Oh, what a rush!
The future of wrestling is reality of wrestling. That's the reality of the situation.
I'm Roddy Piper, and you're watching Reality of Wrestling. Be there, be square, babe.
Can you dig it, sucker?
You are listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. We're just talking and answering a few super chatters. Want to thank all you guys out there that's checking out the show right now. Always let us know where you're coming from, but we coming from you guys from ESPN 97.5. 925, doing it like it's supposed to be done, making all them suckers bow down. But we got any more super chats, man?
Yes, we do. I wanted to say one more thing though before we continued on with our conversation, because you were talking about the bikini girls at the boxing matches.
Yeah.
Right. What's really the point of that? What's even when you go to the UFC and you see the ring card, the UFC Octagon girls, who book, I don't know if you remember, do you remember when we were at the second row? Do you remember the Octagon girls?
Oh yeah.
They got your attention. They're part of the entertainment. They're part of the show. Oh, yeah. I remember, but
give us some Roni, brother. Oh yeah.
I remember though, like when we're talking about embellishing characters on television, when it was WrestleMania 11, Shawn Michaels versus Diesel. Shawn Michaels was known as the Heartbreak Kid. Ladies loved him. Diesel was known as Big Sexy or Big Daddy Cool, right? So to accentuate that at WrestleMania, what do? One of them walks down to the ring with Jenny McCarthy. The other one walks down to the ring with Pamela Anderson, right? Like on their arm. That wasn't for any other reason than to embellish the fact that these guys are the hot commodity for the ladies.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, if you think of the 90s, there's no bigger sex symbol than Pamela Anderson.
Bro, and you say, I want a piece of the action.
Be like, well, whatever he's doing, I want to do what he's doing.
Exactly. And the ladies, like, I got to get with him.
It'd be like, if she's with him, he must be.
Let me try to, weasel my way in. It's one of those type of deals. Yeah.
So wrestling's meant to be embellished, and whether it's cheers or ladies in the front row or what have you. That's kind of what it is.
Everything in wrestling is embellishment.
Everything. That's what it is. It's an embellished art form. Virgil Dawkins says, it seems like Dynamite is barely watchable. I don't know if it's the lack of in-ring promo storytelling or that most of the roster are unfamiliar indie guys. Well, I mean,
yeah, you know what? I don't think that it's because they're unfamiliar indie guys. I think Dynamite is a show where those guys could actually become known. I don't know what this new show is going to look like, Collision. But it's gotta have to have that same feeling. I think if you got on YouTube and watch Reality of Wrestling, if you don't watch it, after about 3 weeks, you're gonna go, man, this show got some good stories going. All right, and that's I think what you want to really watch wrestling for is the stories. Wrestling is just a component, I think, with wrestling, and I think with AEW, even on the Dynamite, even the Rampage shows, I don't hear anybody talking about what kind of stories they got. It's just a bunch of wrestling matches. That could work, I guess. They got a lot of fans in the arena want to watch those wrestling matches. So maybe that's their blueprint. Maybe they're not, storyline heavy. Maybe that's just not the route they're going to take. Maybe that's this hybrid style of wrestling that AEW has chosen to do. I don't know, but that's what it looks like to me.
I agree with you. I mean, with AEW, and here's the thing. You can really make this simple. AEW, I believe, or Dynamite, and this is not even a negative statement at all, but and maybe some people would take it that way. It's a pro wrestling show, right? It's a wrestling-centric, match-oriented show. Whereas WWE, and I know people don't like this term, but it's a sports entertainment show. I mean, and there are differences. There's a reason why Vince was always so adverse to the term pro wrestling, is because he really put on what he felt was a television product that tells stories similar to that of a male soap opera, like The Bold and the Beautiful, or whatever the name of it. As the World Turns. It's 52 weeks a year. It's 3 hours every Monday night. It's 2 hours every Friday night. And we're telling you stories. Sometimes we do a really great job with the stories. Sometimes not so good. But we're always going to be giving you a story. And AEW can put on a lot of great matches. A lot of crazy over the top. Your boot blows up when you kick them in the head pro wrestling matches. But I don't know if they always tell the most effective stories. However, there are certain guys on there that tell great stories. It's not to say that they're without stories on AEW, but it's.
I'm not saying that it's not like it's not stories on AEW, but it's not any stories that stick out in your head that draw you to the show for the story.
I don't disagree with you. Yeah, like if you say what's the best angle,
you're not gonna know. You're not gonna
be like, I would have to sit and think.
Blackpool Comeback Club.
Yeah, right.
That's the only thing you can say, because their group.
That's a group. Yeah, I like what the Blackpool Combat Club is doing.
They got a lot of good stuff.
A lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. Love that Wheeler Yuta. Yeah. So I don't know if it's lack of promos or what have you, but
the Blackpool Comeback Club.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, and they got the House of Black too, don't they?
They have the House of Black, the Elite. There's a few.
Yeah. I just wondered. Blackpool Combat. Yeah, I just can't get that one right.
Blackpool Combat Club.
See, you said Cloud.
Well, yeah, because I'm listening to you. You know what? Speaking of AEW, I think this would be a good time to bring this up. They had their Double or Nothing show from Las Vegas, Nevada, over the weekend.
Yeah.
And one of the
I haven't heard a lot of rave reviews. I can say that. I haven't heard a whole lot.
I think reviews were mixed. I think they were mixed. This definitely I think the build for this show wasn't as good as it was in years past. Yes.
No, it was funny. I saw somebody made a quote. He said, "But it looked like Booker T found time to not trash CM Punk." Like, why do people think I trash CM Punk? I'm still wondering that to this day. Why do people think I trashed CM Punk. Last time we was on the show, you trashed CM Punk, and they say I trashed him.
I didn't trash him. I told the truth.
Well, I'm just saying, but your quote, you didn't, it didn't make the rounds. My quote made the rounds, which really wasn't a bad quote at all. It was just speaking.
Oh, what was the one that made me laugh the other day? You had something that's like Booker T compares Cody Rhodes to who was it? And I was like, wait, when did he say that? And I'm trying to think of Bianca. Was it Bianca Belair? I can't remember who it was. I'll find out. It was a funny quote. I'll find it and send it to you. Wow. But speaking of quotes making the rounds, Ricky Starks had something to say about the quote unquote 4 pillars of AEW. And one of the main events was literally called the 4 Pillars World Title Match because it had Jungle Boy Jack Perry, Darby Allin, MJF, and Sammy Guevara. And he was asked about the 4 pillars quote or the terminology, and he had something to say. Do you mind if I play a segment of that
go ahead.
For everybody?
Yeah.
So this is Ricky Starks on a podcast talking about the 4 pillars and his feelings on it.
From one guy who pillar, because one, it's a full gimmick, and it came from one guy who there's nothing behind it. You get what I'm saying? To say that these 4 dudes are the pillar of the company, you know what you're doing by saying that? F everybody else who did anything. Those people don't matter. It's these 3 guys that we deemed. I have bestowed this sacred title upon thee, and I want you to go forth and do with it. No, I don't believe in that. It's a very sweet gesture to say Ricky should be considered a 5th pillar. Baby, I don't need to be a pillar, okay? I can be a foundation. I can be the roof. I can be the person outside maintaining the lawn. I don't need none of that, because to me, that's a box within itself. 4 pillars? You got me. What? 4 pillars? 4 pillars of what? Name one Coliseum that you know that's famous. I bet you couldn't even do that. So to say that these 4 guys are the ones that are going to make and break, let's see the numbers. Y'all want to talk about ratings? Let's see the ratings for y'all 4, huh? Let's see how much money y'all making. If y'all want to keep bringing up all this bullshit, let's see it. Pen to paper. How are the quarterly hours doing when y'all are on TV? Let's see it. I want to see it. The 4 pillars, hell yeah. My paycheck is signed by those 4 dudes. Hell yeah. Let me see. You get what I'm saying?
So, I mean, that's what he had to say about the 4 pillars. What do you feel about Ricky Starks' reaction to the term?
Well, I'm not saying he's wrong or anything like that, but if he worked for Reality of Wrestling, he would be fired immediately.
And why is that? If he worked for Reality Wrestling, why would he be fired?
Because if you got those kind of feelings, you come talk to me about it.
That's a great
I don't
point.
think that's something that needs to be aired out to the world, the way you feel about these 4 pillars, because it's just say, for instance, when they put the name of the match, the 4 pillars match, that's almost like a title of a movie. It's not, nothing's real about it. It's a movie. It's a drawing tool. It's to get people in the building more than anything. And when you start thinking that your opinion matter as a talent, the way I'm trying to run my business and create my movies, we got a problem.
I like it. We got to take a break, but I think we have more on this.
Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Have you ever thought of
My name is Nathan Wasser, and I'm from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I came down here to Reality of Wrestling to improve my training and get myself more experience learning from the absolute best. It's intense. It's hard. You got to leave your your ego at the door and come in with an open mind. The way they do stuff here is the next level. But if you do that, you'll end up bettering yourself in the end, and you'll improve, and you'll be able to work anywhere.
Nathan, he's an unbelievably awesome student. I'll tell you why, right? For a few reasons. Number one, the man packed up all the way from the Great White North to move down here to the U.S. to train because he wanted to learn from one of the best. But what's even more impressive, on top of the fact that he takes care of his body, he works hard, is the fact that he was trained by a very reputable trainer and yet still comes down here humble, hungry, ready to work and ready to learn, and not coming in here acting like he knows everything or that he's too rigid in his ways.
Booker's knowledge will help you get to whatever goals you want to do if you want to be a big star in this industry. My end goal is to be in WWE. Coming down here to Reality of Wrestling, I feel is the best opportunity for me to get there, so I'm going to do whatever it takes. I can promise you, when you come to Reality of Wrestling, it will change your life. You will not regret it.
Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Shoop! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. I know I just got a hot take there a second ago, but we might as well continue.
Let's do it.
And I know you was talking about this, off the break. I mean, when we were on the break, as far as do you think Ricky Starks, you may feel a little different about it?
Well, I'm saying I understand his sentiment. Now, whether he should air that sentiment publicly or not, I agree with you. That's something that you can go talk to somebody about. To me, where the internet leads people astray, I think one of the worst things that's ever happened in the history of the world is when Facebook, when you used to log in, it used to be saying on the top, what's on your mind, right? And guess what? Most people, we don't care what's on your mind. And sometimes when you tell us what's on your mind, it gets you in trouble and we just laugh at it. Now, from this perspective, whether he gets in trouble from this or not, I don't know. I definitely agree with what you said. If somebody like that were to go on Reality Wrestling and be like, what does Booker think? Calling these three guys the Heat, what does he think doing that? I'm the Heat too. I'm the this, I'm the that, totally get.
He would be fired immediately.
He would be asked to go. He would be given the classic line, the get your stuff and get out.
Yeah.
But for Ricky, and I want to ask you this more from a locker room perspective, how would you feel if, let's say, they were talking about the 4 pillars of WCW and Booker T wasn't in that mix? And you're like, wait a minute, I've been here since 92. I got this company, Harlem Heat, man. We helped build this tag division. Then the singles, I made that TV title, made the U.S. title, helped elevate guys in the ring. Would you care about it at all?
Do you think none of that stuff ever happened?
Well, it did happen.
all of that stuff happened. What are you talking about?
So how did you feel about it?
Man, I was getting paid.
Right.
It was a job. I didn't think like Ricky Starks is thinking right now. It's like saying the championship, you know what I mean? You earned it. I earned the title. Yeah, I mean, well, you may have earned it by going out there busting your butt every week and selling tickets and selling merch, but you didn't earn it by beating anybody up. Okay, so let's put this thing in perspective and understand what you're doing and why you're here. A lot of these guys, just like back in WCW, okay, a lot of those guys thought they were stars until they didn't have a job anymore, till nobody wanted to talk to them. And then they realized they were just regular guys, just like everybody else, just like you and I. Mm-hmm. I understand that I'm a regular guy. Mm-hmm. I understand that. 99% I'm going to speak up, 100% 99% I'm going to keep my mouth shut, 100% I'm going to speak up. This is not an issue that should be aired out because there again, it's a movie that we're talking about. We're talking about the marquee. We're talking about the title of the book. And normally when you do that stuff, you do it to sell something. Dusty Rhodes said it, but promote something.
Right.
And obviously, this guy didn't know about the Dusty Rhodes playbook. and what promoting means.
Yeah.
And I'm just speaking facts here. I don't know. I don't have nothing against Ricky Starks, but I just think that was the stupidest move in the world he could have did, was create more havoc in that locker room when we talking about wrestling. We talking about wrestling.
No, you make great points, Book.
I'm not even trust me. I know I make great points. Trust me, I do.
Yeah, I mean, but I get, again, wanting to have your frustration. I get it. Now, whether you should air them out on but I will say, like, the 4 pillars concept, not from a promotional aspect, because I think that from a promotional aspect, I get why you would build this world title match at Double or Nothing around the 4 pillars idea. Totally get it. But I do think, like, when fans run with that, when you promote something enough, fans start to believe it.
No. Come on, Brad.
What?
Come on, let's be real here for a second. Don't fall down that rabbit hole. Okay.
I'm not going down a rabbit hole.
Who are the 4 pillars?
It's Sammy, Darby, Jungle Boy, and MJF.
And you don't hear, okay, Chris Jericho, he ain't said nothing about being a pillar, right?
Right. Well, we're talking about the 4 young guys.
No, okay. I'm just saying. That's your perception, young guy.
Like, you know what it is?
A pillar for me is the guy who's building the foundation. The guy who's it knows that would be a guy like, that would be a guy like Moxley.
It'd be Moxley, Jericho, Cody, and Omega.
Exactly my point. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you don't hear them guys saying nothing. Okay.
No.
Because you know why? Because
they're getting paid and they're over.
Exactly. It is a work.
It's a work.
So come on, man. Come on, wake up. Wise up. Wise up and quit giving the fans clickbait, stuff like this.
Yeah.
Wise up. Quit marking out, over yourself. That's what this thing's about.
Fair point. Totally
Bottom line.
Fair
Bottom
point.
line, exposing the business. So sick of these guys exposing the business.
In what ways?
Well, going to the internet to talk about grievances like this.
Yeah.
Like I said, if I got a problem with the boss about what he's doing with his business, I'm going to go talk to the boss, and the boss probably going to fire me on the spot. Opposed to going on the internet and talking about it and making yourself look a certain way, because if you talk about it this way in this company, you talk about it the next way in the next company you go to. You're putting a mark on yourself. You're making yourself look bad. Opposed to just going out there and, for me, I just took it. I didn't wait on somebody to give it to me. I didn't wait to become a pillar. I said, I would just go out and perform better than everybody else. They're going to have to look at me sooner or later, hopefully. Well, that was the game plan. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't. But these guys running to the internet these days, man, it boggles my mind, bro. Boggles the hell out of my mind.
Well, are you ready to get a little heat?
Yeah.
Because you're really about to be put on the spot by this super chat here. You ready for it? Kid wants to know, who would you consider the 4 pillars of reality of wrestling?
Me, and me. That's the 4 pillars.
Heat's coming.
No, the 4 pillars. I put every dime in reality of wrestling.
I feel you.
You think some kid could come say they're a pillar? If I don't say they're a pillar, that's me talking. That's the boss talking. And when you want to question the boss, you got a problem. That's just facts, man.
What happens typically when somebody questions the boss?
In reality of wrestling, I don't mind if someone questions the boss. My thing is, I've had, just like Kevin, I'll give you a perfect example. Kevin, my right-hand man, all right? He's been with me now for 18 years, okay? Wow. Kevin knows the rule. 99%, keep your mouth shut. I don't want to even talk to you. When you're 100%, I'll take a meeting with you, okay? We'll talk about it. One day, Kevin said, hey, Book, I need to talk to you, all right? And I go, what's up? So you mind if I have a meeting with you? So I know it's the 100%. He goes, you remember when I said, when you said, the 99% rule, keep your mouth shut, 100%, speak up. I go, yeah, I said it. I made the rule up. He goes, man, I need a raise,
And I'm 100% about it.
Yeah, and I looked at him and I just started laughing. I go, how much you need? And he go, X amount. And I started laughing again. I go, all right, good, all right, cool. Get the hell out of my office. You know what I mean? But my thing is, know when to speak up. Know when it's worth speaking up about something. That is not worth speaking about because, for me, even if I was told I was a pillar, me personally, I wouldn't think that way because I know they could fire my ass tomorrow.
Right. And then how much of a pillar really are you?
So that none of that stuff really, it doesn't mean anything. It has zero weight other than the perception that we're trying to sell to our people, to our fans. So you got to understand what this business is about. And I just think these young guys, hopefully the ones that's listening to this, hopefully they can really, take away from this that I ain't trying to hate on this kid or anything like that. Man, let's clean this business up, man. It's too many guys out there that just like I say, exposing the business.
The Beastie Boys and Nas had a record back in the day called Too Many Rappers, right? And then the hook essentially said too many rappers, not enough MCs, right? The MC is the master of ceremonies, the games to be sold, not told kind of people. Too many rappers, not enough MCs. I think that sometimes that's applicable to the world of pro wrestling. Too many wrestlers, not enough gatekeepers, I guess. Yeah. We have time for one more super chat real quick here before the break. Cali Toenail wants to know,
some Roni, brother. Oh, yeah.
How do the days you hold a title count when you're just sitting on it? Night of Champions, no universal title match. Now Money in the Bank looks like a tag team match for Roman. I thought WWE had a 30-day must-compete thing going. Yes or no? Roman, 1,000 days as champion. So some people, they're not pleased with it.
Look, man, I don't know the rules. Okay. If I don't have to defend the title, go back to the Hogan. Hogan didn't defend the title all the time. Hogan defended it on a pay-per-view, Saturday night main event, and that was it. Sometimes he didn't even show up for TV for a month.
Didn't know where he was.
And when he showed up, it was a big party because Hogan was there. God, man, let's quit trying to, look too deep into the show, guys. Let's try to enjoy the show from an outside perspective, opposed to one to get into the nuts and bolts of how the machine actually works. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Because I questions like that right there, it's hard for me to really answer it because, I don't care about it, as a fan.
I feel you.
I just want to see Roman when I see him, when I can. Stick around. You're in the hall. We'll be back in a minute.
How well do you think you know your wrestling? I've prepared some trivia questions right here for you, so let's go and take a look. How was that? I hope you did well. Now let's throw it back over to Brad and Booker for the Hall of Fame.
Shub. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. We're getting ready to wrap this thing here up in a few, but no, we got a few more super chatters, Brad.
We do. This comes from Roger Dawkins, who says WWE finally used War Games match and even made it playable on 2K. Do you think with the right booking, WCW's 3-tier cage match could work today?
Yeah, I think if anybody can make it work, it will be WWE. You know, they got the budget and the manpower to actually be able to secure something like that. I remember
the cage is crazy.
And I remember the concept from Ready to Rumble.
Right.
It was crazy. It looked awesome. It looked from a movie perspective, it actually looked awesome. I don't know if it will work today though. It might. It might. It definitely would. Something I would be willing to explore. I tell you that.
Well, I'm kind of all for trying out the gimmick matches. You know, as a kid, those are my favorite things. Is watching. Although y'all went through pain when the Elimination Chamber concept to me was just so awesome. It was so cool, and that was WWE's version of War Games. I like War Games too with the 2-ring concept. The 3-tier cage match. I know they actually did it a couple times in WCW. And I remember somebody took a bump like off the top of the cage to the ramp, but it looked like super gimmicked. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
I think it was a Canyon.
It probably was Canyon. I think it was Canyon.
Yeah. And I remember I was like, well, I don't really understand the concept of the match. It's like the second one is like a hardcore cage match, and then the third one has a belt that you climb up to. But done right, any gimmick can work.
No, like I said, I think if anybody could do it, WWE could definitely pull something off like that. And I would definitely, I definitely love to see it. I wouldn't want to be in it.
No, brother. No. This is from Kappa Owen. Well, actually, let me ask you, what's your favorite gimmick match like of all time?
I guess the
San Francisco 49ers match?
No, man, you crazy. No, man, but my favorite gimmick match, it goes back in the day, you probably wouldn't even remember it, but it was called the Coal Miner's Glove match.
Yeah, Sting and Jake the Snake, I think, right?
Yeah, but it started right here. They did that match here in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
Back in the day, so that Coal Miner's Glove match was always intriguing for me to see the guy get that glove on and go to work with it.
Yeah, I remember watching a Jake the Snake, and I think Sting and WCW did a.
I know everybody, talking about the cage matches and the ladder matches, stuff like that. But for me, it's just that match right there had a certain vibe about it. Coal Miner's Glove match. Yeah.
Like for a pure gimmick match, I think my favorite, because you could only do it with the Undertaker, and it was the Buried Alive match. I just thought the Buried Alive match was so cool, that they were able to pull that off. Yeah. And go watch Taker and Vince.
What was Mick Foley's gimmick match? The Boiler Room Brawl.
Boiler Room Brawl. Yeah. Boiler Room Brawl was tight too.
Yeah. Fighting in the bowels of the building.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I remember.
That's the JR right there. That's Jim Ross right there. I can hear him saying, "We're here in the bowels of the building."
Bowels.
The worst one WWE, or one of the worst ones WWE ever did, was I think it was called the Dog Kennel from Hell match. Did you ever hear about this? With Boss Man and Al Snow?
With the real dogs?
Yeah, they had dogs inside a Hell in a Cell match.
Were the dogs about to attack each other?
No, like they were in the cages.
Okay.
And it was like supposed to be like, because I think Boss Man had like, this is such Attitude Era stuff. I think Boss Man killed Al Snow's dog in the storyline.
Yeah.
And so like the redemption was a Hell in a Cell with dogs surrounding the cell.
I remember that one, man. They must have got that concept from the old movie, the Doberman Gang.
I've never seen that one. Seems like one I could skip.
I was just talking to my kids about it the other day. The Doberman Gang. You can pull up the poster.
Let's find the Doberman.
Doberman Gang. It was a good movie, man. A bunch of white folks. It was about these dogs that robbed the bank. Yeah, about this dog. They taught these Dobermans how to rob a bank. It's actually a pretty good concept.
The poster's awesome.
It is.
Let me see if I can share it here. The poster's actually really sweet. Trained to commit the most incredible caper ever conceived.
Yeah.
The Doberman Gang. Let me share it here.
I guess I was about 8 years old when I saw that movie or something like that.
Let's see. Here's the Doberman Gang. There's the poster. Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
It's a sweet poster.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
They're attacking the guy right here. They're robbing the bank.
That was actually pretty cool.
They got the chick right here.
I swear, man. I remember going and watch that movie when I was a kid, man. It was actually a pretty cool flick. Yeah.
Why is exciting family in quotes? Why is that in quotes? Exciting family.
72, man. 72, man. I was 7 years old when that movie came out. Wow.
Oh, that's so funny.
Crazy.
The Doberman Gang. Here we go. Here's another one. Ryback versus Goldberg retirement. Any comments on that? Is that happening?
No, that's not happening. But I have been hearing a lot of news, kind of like little chirps. I wouldn't say news, just chirps about Ryback, man. Ryback trying to, throw his name out there. I saw he posted a photo with, like a silhouette of him in the background with the AEW caption over it. You know what I mean? All Elite caption over it. So it seemed like he's trying to lobby to get back in this business. You think Ryback will ever get back in, man?
Do I think he'd ever get back in? Maybe. Do I have any interest?
You think the fans want to see Ryback?
No. Absolutely not.
No?
I don't think so.
So why would he get back in?
Well, he might want to get back in. That's one thing. He might want to get back in, but I
somebody like AEW would take a chance on.
No.
Ryback?
Mm-mm.
No.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I just wondering.
Well, to me, he was of his time. Ryback had a good run. I'm never going to take that away from him. He had a good run for like a year or 6-8 months. He had a really good run in WWE. To where I thought conceivably you could have put the title on him at one point when his feud with CM Punk. It felt like he had some energy behind him. And then it just went away. I don't know what happened.
Ryback working any independent shows or anything like that. All I remember Ryback doing is WWE work. And for someone who only did WWE work, came up in that system, I swear this dude talked like he's been in the business for 100 years and worked at every major level. I'm serious. I'm just saying. I don't know how difficult he was in the ring or anything like that. I don't know how. I've heard guys, say that, this, that, whatnot about him. But me personally, I have no personal knowledge. But when Ryback left the company and went out on this world tour to bash everything about wrestling, even to the point to where he said the titles aren't real. Now you want to try to get back in it.
Yeah.
Guys like that, man. Just go home. Go home.
I lost respect for Ryback. Remember, I don't remember what the words were because I've kind of deleted them from my brain, but he didn't have like the nicest things to say after Vince's mom passed away. You remember that?
Yeah, and that kind of stuff too. It's just like, come on, bro.
Classless.
It's like you've burned you blew the bridge up. So it's like coming back to this business, it seems like you should be wanting to move on in life. And I'm not saying that just because I'm in this business. I'm just saying that because of, like I say, got out of it, and it seems like you just went on a world tour to mess up every bridge that you had built, every road that you had crossed. Is like you just screw it all up. I don't know.
I don't get it either. Well, I don't think we're going to see that from Ryback and Goldberg. Brooklyn Bryan says, Tiffy time. The Tiffy era has begun. Shucky, yucky.
Quack all the way to the Nebula, baby. She's doing it. That star is bright, man. It's shining real, real bright. It's like a Hale Bob's comet. I'll have to use that one.
What comet?
Hale Bob. You never heard about that?
I know Haley's comet. I don't know Hale Bob.
I think that's one I just made up.
Did you use Gankin Zone on the pay-per-view? Did I miss it?
Yeah, I did.
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it in the last match.
You need oh, right. That's where it was. Now you need to get in he's all over him like the Doberman gang. Like I need to hear that. I need to hear that on NXT because that's going to make me so happy to hear. Because I'm watching that movie maybe tonight. I might have to watch that movie tonight. The Doberman gang. We have one. I think we have one more super chat here before we wrap things up. Thoughts on Slamovich versus Killer Kelly dog collar match at Impact Wrestling against all odds? It should be a great match. I don't know. Perhaps.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not too sure about that. I don't keep up with Impact too much, man. Impact is not my thing, but it's called Hail Bop.
Hail Bop.
Hail Bop's Comet. Yeah, that's what.
Okay, I don't know that one.
Yeah, Hail Bop. Yeah, I knew it was something like that. Yeah, I knew it wasn't too far off on that. Yeah, seriously, man. I don't know why I know about the stuff in the cosmos and stuff like that.
Hail Bop. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's something like stuck in my mind. I remember when I was a kid. My science teacher taught me about all the planets, right? And she was like, you remember you remember all the planets? And I was like, man, I can't remember. I can't seem to remember them. And she said, all right, I'm gonna give you a little tip. She said, my mom just made me 5 pizza pies. And that is the comments.
Oh, okay. So wait, my mom. This is for what? The comets?
For the planets.
My mom
just made us 5 pizza pies.
Oh, okay, so it's Mercury. Wow, now I can't think of the planets. Mercury, I know what they are. I know them in a different order though. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. Just is Jupiter. Pluto. Jupiter. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Pluto, right?
Yeah. Neptune.
I missed Neptune. Neptune.
I think it's something like that, but that's how I remember the planets, man. It's
yeah. Oh, here it is. My very educated mother
just made us 9 pizza pies.
Yeah, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter. Where's Saturn though? Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. I don't know. Whatever.
Somebody sent the wrong one.
Somebody else sent the wrong one. Now I'm looking crazy out
A
here.
very educated mother just served us 9 pizza pies.
There we go.
Yeah, that's what it is.
There we go. Okay.
That's what it is.
There we have.
You don't mess with my little private man.
We got it.
If you go to teach your kids that, man, go right ahead, man, because definitely carried me through still now all the way to NXT. All the way to the Nebula, baby. She's a rock star. Hey, man, we got to get out of here, man. We got to get up out of here. I want to thank everybody for stepping inside the Hall of Fame. Getting your champagne, wishes, caviar, dreams. Bradley, as always, man, appreciate you. Super chatters. Love you guys. Right now, peace. We out this mug.